What's going on, everyone? Neophyte Stack. Man, we got a couple days left for the new year to begin, and I was just like pondering whatever happened to Wall Street Silver Bets, man. I wasn't subscribed in the beginning. I kind of felt like this was like a hype train coming through onto the silver community side. I know that the person who runs this has done a lot for the community. They've put out, oh my God, so many different videos. I want to say right here, 73,000 subscribers, 614 videos, and within all 2 years, in 2 years, they pumped out 614 videos. So that's amazing. That's a lot of content to take in. But I was like, they're not as active as they were prior. And so they kind of came in. It's been 3 years, going on to 4, and it's kind of died down. But this was interesting. So I was checking out a lot of different channels, trying to read the census of what's happening in the YouTube silver community. What's everyone talking about? I'm hearing a lot more about local coin shops who have a plethora of inventory with no buyers. They got too much inventory and they're trying to get rid of it, and there's not a whole lot of bullion sales, which kind of makes sense with A-Mark precious metal stock that we're following. It's one of our markers. They're down, I think, over 10% for the year to date, so they did not do well for this year. But I was check this out. Do this as kind of an experiment. So if you guys follow and subscribe to a bunch of different channels, you can kind of figure out what you like as far as content. And so I went through my subscriptions. I got rid of a lot of subscriptions because I just kind of felt like they were pumping. And I don't need to hear all that. I really don't. I feel like that's the majority of what sells on YouTube. I feel like that's how, stackers become content creators, is to get those likes in. And then all of a sudden you see the doom and gloom videos. And in this case, if you go through your list, you pick your channel, and then if you hit popular, it's going to show you the top videos. And they usually have a lot of doom and gloom in there. So I was just kind of going through it all to see, what gets the most views out of a lot of people. And it's, the global financial system is falling apart. Buy silver before it's too late. De-dollarization, revaluation of gold. Something's about to break. Global financial system is falling. What happens to gold? There's just so much stuff about doom and gloom. And I did this for various ones. ITM trading. I saw Ms. Zhang in the beginning around 2018, 2019. And I like what she was talking about. And then all of a sudden it popped after 2020. But, here we go. The expose, the collapse, the banks are going to crash and get harder access in 2024. The edge of collapse is happening. Shortages. We've had shortages. We've had massive banking changes. They're killing America. This means trouble. Which banks fail? This changes everything system-wide. I mean, you can name everything. Even Kitco, which I thought was, more of a actual legit, news media, and it's more of an entertainment thing. I feel like a lot of doomsday as well. Half the dollar dump. People thought that, Russia and China were going to take over and the U.S. was going to get the dollar, was going to dump through the bricks. Stock market about to crash 40% by April. So I was looking to see what's going on, right? This happened in 2020, I believe. I think it was 2020 of November, but it's wild to see this. It's right here, watch. So this is the actual thing. It's going to crash by 40%. This was November the 25th of 2020. If you look at the Dow Industrial Average, the Dow Jones, in 2020, when was that? November of 2020 is right about here. 29,000. He's talking about 40% dump next year in April. Next year in April was up here. It moved several thousand points up. I mean, this is what sells. This is what trips everyone out, and people are rushing to sell their stock and do all this crazy stuff. This is an emergency Fed cut. The collapse will come. Economic doomsday will crash. The biggest crash in world history hits this October. Uh, I want to say that this guy was off by a lot. If you guys want to go and check that out, it's kind of just crazy, And obviously, this is the one who got me into silver stacking when I started to read the headlines in 2018. In December, they're talking about a stock market crash. And this was, when you go onto YouTube and you put silver stacking, it's going to shoot out all of the popular videos. And so what happens is those videos get favored every time to a new person, and they just start to click and take in the likes. So the collection of likes start to happen, and then that's how they get popular. But it's not because the content was great. It's just because one goes viral after another. The herd of people like to join with other people. So, and this one was really interesting. Terrifying was used in the top eight videos. Terrifying was used 3 times. Alarming was used. Something bad is going to happen. Something scary is about to, it's a pump. And that's what I kind of, want to kind of share to new people who are stacking that, this stuff is nonstop. And these are the biggest silver content creators that are out there who are pumping it. And it's also interesting that a lot of guys are kind of associated with some kind of bullion sales dealer, wholesaler, retail investor, whatever it is, retailer, I'm sorry. They're all kind of sponsored by these same channels for one agenda, and that's just to kind of pump silver. But I was looking at the S&P. The S&P did just fine. It peaked in 2020, December of 2 years ago. Pretty much crashed right before December of the following year. And the 3rd December, we're up. So we're back up. Year to date, 24.33, we're on cue. We've already surpassed the peak of July. So what's looking? Everyone's bullish on 2024. We're going to see what happens. Silver didn't really do much. So we can check it out right now on APMEX. But our silver didn't do as a good job as we wanted it to. Not even 1% higher, 18 cents. Plenty of times to buy dips, but it felt like $21 was the lowest dip. Which kind of reminded me, I'm looking at deals right now that are $28, $27, $28, $29. And it's like, when did silver ever hit $29? It never did. There's a 26 peak right here and another 25 peak right here. Maybe during that day it hit maybe 30, but it settled at 26. Same with this one. And it's wild to go and buy an ounce of silver for $28 when spot price hasn't been $28 in God knows how long. I don't know. It's been a couple years, right? Yeah, 2 years ago it was that price. So moving forward, what are we gonna do for our set goals and stacking silver? I've been I was vocal about it in 2020 where I said I'm gonna stop buying. It's too expensive, and I got a lot of different opinions, which I usually, don't mind. I don't care if anyone hates or whatever. I love to understand people's ways of thinking. So, when someone puts a comment on my channel, on one of my videos that said, the last thing that you're gonna think about is not buying at $40 silver. When I commented about American Silver Eagle, and I was so curious to know, and I try to engage as much as I can with anyone who comments on my channels or just interacts with me on other people's comments. I usually just cruise comments and kind of figure out what's everyone thinking, why they think the way they do, and kind of see who I side with or who's very, very smart and has earned a good amount of respect. I feel like the majority of people just side to the heavier channels because it's like being part of a team. And so I kind of stay away from those. I'm looking for guys who are starting their silver stacking journey and got, less than 500, less than 1,000. But there are some content creators that I side with who have over 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is. But it's the whole point of this video is to kind of be careful about what you see on YouTube, so you're not caught up in the FOMO and you're not selling like what's happening now. People are starting to sell. They're worried about bills and inflation and stuff like that. I mean, we bought silver to hedge us against inflation, and it gave us 1%, you guys. Buy silver to hedge against inflation, hedge against inflation, and it performed at 1%, while the S&P gave back 24%. The stock market keeps up with inflation. It might drop, have these nasty drops, but in the end, it goes up and up and up. I mean, don't bet against America. I can't say that enough. I mean, you look at silver. Silver's up, right? Ever since it did go up. But, I mean, there's times where it got too expensive to buy. And so, I mean, the better you are at trying to, see the ebb and flow of how silver performs, what triggers it, what drops it, it's just better altogether for you as a silver stacker. That way you know when to buy, when not to buy, when premiums are too high, and so on. Ooh, I had a sneeze. Excuse me. But yeah, that was interesting. I was on some lives today. Stack It is doing just lives right now. I was just on his channel as well. He's a funny guy. Jimmy Lacardi as well is a funny guy. Constitutional Stackers is hilarious. If you guys haven't watched, go in, check his stack out. I think he's shifting through nickels right now. But there's a lot of different things here. Pretty cool stuff. I've been focused more on stocks right now at this point. My feed is weird. I have to block things all the time. But especially the stock market, everyone has, when there's a bull run, all of these videos come out, right? And you start to figure out why they put it into this. I'm seeing, what I'm seeing a lot of? I'm seeing a lot of people who are double dipping in ETFs that are nearly the exact same thing. For instance, someone's, heavy in SCHD or VTI or VU, and they're double crossing over. Why would you buy two funds that have the same thing in them? It's better to have one pool of money, one large pool of money, than two smaller pools of money. So, I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm commenting, and I'm letting them know, hey, what's your reasoning for doing that if they're holding the same positions? They're pretty much the same positions all across the board, and they're just like, oh, well, I bought it and I didn't get rid of it. Or they have some reasoning, and it kind of gives me a sense of how sharp they are, how informed they are. But I guess that's how we learn. That's how I learned too. I was doing the same stuff. So I'm not excluded from it, but I think as a community, if we start to understand and kind of, here's another one. Look at this. Navigating an eye-opening talk on gold dominance. Let me put this down so it doesn't too loud. Jay Martin's show. This guy's done extremely well for himself. Let's check out his popularity videos. Get far away from the USA. Its collapse will be messy. 10 years ago, guys. 10 years ago. You should have moved out of the United States because the collapse is going to just be messy. Canadian billionaire predicts end of the U.S. dollar's world reserve. Look at that. 10 years ago. Don't bet against the dollar. I swear, man. Don't bet against the dollar. The next Black Swan event. 3 years ago. Ooh, that's the financial crisis. Crash is coming 2020. Peter Schiff got it right. When was that? Hold on. Let's double check when this was. This was 5 years ago, February 19, 2018. Now, was he right? The next financial crash is coming. Was he right? 2020, and this could have been edited afterwards, but we were on track 5 years ago. They were ballooning. Remember, they were talking about, I remember in 2019, they were saying stocks were at an all-time high, and this is crazy, it's not going to happen. This, was it due to a financial crisis, or was this the work of the global shutdown of COVID? I don't know. But check this out. Even if you did pull your money out and you put in something else, look at what you missed out on the next things. What I didn't understand is that when I was watching videos right here at this point, no one was saying, when this happened, put all your money in right now and buy what you can. Because in the next 2 years, with stimulus coming out and everything else, you're about to make a lot of money. No one said that. Just like when October was happening, and I'm kind of guilty of this as well. When this peaked at 20% and then it shot down to 10, I was dollar cost averaging. I was like, look it, 10% is gone. If it starts to go down now, I was expecting it to go further down, and I did. It went back up because everyone started to buy this dip, and then it dropped down again, and I got into some new positions at a perfect time. It was amazing the time I ended up buying these positions. But, I mean, it goes to show you, and look at, when this happened, everyone was doing the same thing. Oh, you better run and pull your money out. Better pull your money out. And you lost your gains on this. So, that's why I'm such a big proponent about the stock market. I feel like stocks will always be valuable regardless in this fake funny money economy. If you want to bet against it, that's your right. But I think that you're betting against a house that may not happen. Someone had mentioned, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but someone had commented. I made a comment on someone's YouTube comment. They're talking about how when silver and gold are the only things left to save you from a stock market collapse, you're going to wish that you ran and bought silver and gold. And I'm thinking like, okay, you can always hedge against something like that, right? It's good. That's what a lot of rich people do, is buy 5% of their net worth. They have it in gold. I think I talked about this before. Kevin Leary talked about buying paper gold, and anytime it gets higher than 5% of his portfolio, he sells off. So if it goes to 7, he sells off 2% of that for profit, and then he just keeps it at 5%. And during the COVID times as well, Palantir ended up buying $50 million worth of gold bars, physical gold bars. They showed it in their meeting, and everyone freaked out. Oh, look at everyone's buying gold. What they were doing was hedging because they had about $2 billion in cash, and things were starting to kind of seem weird, right? There was March 2020 all the way up to December 2020, more than a year and a half of just climbing. They said something might happen, and we're gonna hedge it. 50 million is actually exactly 5% of 2 billion. So, there's different reasons why people buy gold. Even the late Sam, I can't remember his last name. Huff. Sam, he's a global he's a mogul in real estate. He passed away. God bless his soul. Rest in peace. He bought gold, and he was very vocal about it when they interviewed him in 2021. They talked about, something, this reminded him of what was happening in 2020, 2021, of the 70s and 80s, where inflation and gas shortages and all that other stuff. So he ended up buying some gold as well. He didn't disclose how much, but, there's a good reason why we do buy gold and silver. But for the people who watch these crashes, they're going to happen, and you're going to be sad that you never bought gold and silver. Like, that's a very long shot. The U.S. stock market has been a stock market for over 231 years. That's 2 lifetimes. And for you to bet all your money and then change your whole entire lifestyle, the Great Depression brought on savers. People started saving more money because of stuff like that they learned from it. But, I mean, to just give up on and say I'm not even going to buy stock anymore is wild to me. I honestly think it's wild to me. This is America. This is how people build wealth. It's just wild. But But yeah, that's what I look at. The auto industry is going to collapse as well. 5 years ago, Tesla's selling all kinds of crazy cars, man. The prices of cars skyrocketed, and there's just everyone has these theories, and I get it, right? They're based on the hypothesis. They're based off of educated guesses, but a lot of guys get them wrong. But what I'm understanding now is that YouTube's just filled with content creators, and not really people who are looking to educate and really help out the average person, right? Like, they want you to buy subscriptions. They want you to do whatever they want because this is how they make their living, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you gotta understand the point of why they why they title things, and it's been hard. It's been hard to find original people who are doing it just to kind of share it with the world and not try to retire on content creating. Everyone's got. Look at these videos, man. They're not original. They're like they're what do they call them? Cardboard cookie cutouts. Everyone got the same kind of headlines. The titles, the framing. I don't know how you say it. They're like Excel templates that everyone has for YouTube now. I can't come across a channel that is just a guy in his phone, a guy in a video camera, and he's just talking about his everyday life and what he's doing to get better at building wealth and not having to work 60 hours a week. Like, he's learning the stock market, he's learning different avenues of real estate investing and stuff like that, and making it actually happen, right? Everyone on here is trying to sell you some course, tell you how you can be a millionaire like them. But if the fact is that if they can't replicate something, they wouldn't be on here trying to sell you a pipe dream, right? They wouldn't be on here selling you a pipe dream. And that's what most people do on here. How to master the stock market. If you mastered it, you wouldn't be wasting your time selling it on YouTube, right? The amount of time it takes to make videos and edit them is a lot. And if you master the stock market, you're making money while you sleep, and you can enjoy your day with your family and do everything else. It sucks, but it is what it is. You kind of have to understand that stuff. But yeah. And then I'm seeing a lot of this stuff, these high value, like 100K, that's a massive. I'm looking for the average hardworking blue collar guy who got 10 or maybe 5 or anything under 20. You know what I mean? It's like, he paid me $1,000 per month. Like, and then it's all, man, it's just all, templates. But it is what it is. That's how YouTube has become. Now it's harder to really find guys who are learning as they go, not just a bunch of guys who are reiterating the famous channels. But there's some Joe Rogan, all kinds of stuff on this. Who's that? Danny Talks Money. I just spent $5,000 on this undervalued stock. That's cool. 5 things I stopped buying. It's always like a number too, right? Like, these are the 5 best investment opportunities. You should be buying these 5 bullion coins. There's 7 rules to a silver stack. It's like, man. It's really hard just to get back in. It's starting to turn me away from YouTube, but oh well. Man, there's a lot of weird stuff on here. Bitcoin's up. Bitcoin's up past the 40s. It was on a run. It may run a little bit more. So usually tax season's coming on. Christmas is coming on. A lot of people are going to have extra money moving forward for the new year. And then while they do their taxes after, April, running all the way. Usually I know a lot of people who do their taxes early. So January, February, March are just kind of popping. They got extra money to spend. So I'm guessing that the stock market is going to be doing really well up until April, May, and then maybe a pullback in June. Look at this. Want to be rich? Combine these ETFs for 100K. Investing simplified. Professor G. Professor G looks like Eric from That 70s Show, doesn't he? He really does. Yeah, I got. Ooh, look at that. Popped up on my feed. Oh, JT popped up on my feed. kudos. A-Mark Precious Metals. This is a phenomenal interview, man. You guys, that's saved on my playlist. I'm so mad that I didn't get in on A-Mark Precious Metals before the 2020 bottom. Man, this guy's very smart, millionaire. He's doing extremely well for himself. He runs, that's Gregory, Mark Gregory from A-Mark Precious Metals. He runs Silver Bullion. Strategic. Very smart guy. I think I talked about his dividends, right? Dividends alone were like over $6 million. How to start investing for beginners. Tips for your 20s. Yeah, man. This is fine. Everything's fine. Ooh, I haven't seen that video. I'm going to check that video out. 2 is 1. This guy made a killing in crypto and bought all those gold coins. I think that's what happened, if I'm not correct. All world's currencies are toilet paper. Interview with Doug Casey. That's interesting. Here we are fighting over toilet paper. Solana. Yep. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Neophyte Stack. Happy blessings, happy stacking, and a happy holiday to you and your family.